One special topic is called SWOT analysis. And in fact, I can go through it relatively quickly because you read about it for today. In your Management by Proverbs book, SWOT analysis is one of the sort of the classic ways that we go about doing diagnosis so that we can remain competitive. And it helps us with our planning process. So this is a bridge between the diagnosis and the planning functions of management. And SWOT is simply an acronym. It measures strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as we go about assessing ourselves and creating plans for the future. So, and as you read, the strengths and weaknesses part typically refers to the internal environment, who we are at Willow Creek or at Messiah College or whatever the organization is, whereas the opportunities and threats is more of an assessment of the external environment. And sometimes pictures help to clarify concepts. Here's I think, a useful picture that gives you a quick overview of what we're talking about. On the y-axis here, we have external and internal. You know, the external things along that row, opportunities and threats. The internal things, strengths and weaknesses. And then in the columns, some of these things are helpful and some of these things are harmful. In evaluating what we should do next and where we can get a competitive position in the marketplace is maybe look at these kinds of categories, this kind of information. Now that's a little bit abstract. Let's make it more concrete and usable by taking an organization that we're relatively familiar with, McDonald's, and you know their brand mission is to be our customers' favorite place to eat. And in fact, if you were to look at their website, they have their mission and values in the same place on their website. These things go together. It is the environment in which they operate. And you know, their brand mission is to be a customer's favorite place and way to eat. That's interesting. Is McDonald's your favorite place to eat? I don't know, maybe some of you, and you don't want to admit it. Is it your favorite way to eat? Do you like the plastic utensils and, you know, your salads and the little plastic things or whatever? But that's their goal. Right, that's their reason for existence. That's where they want to go with the organization. It's very aspirational, and just because it seems, you know, too far out there doesn't mean that it shouldn't be their mission. That's what they're going for. We're committed to continuously improving our operations, enhancing our customers' experience. That's also part of their mission and things that they value. And then they go through and talk about their specific values. My question to you is this. You know, given what we know about McDonald's from our experience and from maybe this kind of mission statement, what are their strengths and weaknesses? Just take 90 seconds. Write down a few of McDonald's strengths and weaknesses that you're aware of. This is the easiest exercise you're going to have in this class all semester. Call them out. What are some of McDonald's strengths in your opinion? Anybody? What's that? Price, okay? Very competitively priced, dollar menu, a lot of calories per dollar, you know, if that's what you're looking for. Well, hey, sometimes it's about bang for the buck. Yeah.
They're fast.
Speed, right? And it's been that way. They built the organization on speed. It tastes good, all right? So some of the things, and that's a matter of preference, but certainly taste, quality. Colin? They're kind of what? Ubiquitous. They're everywhere, right? Tens of thousands of McDonald's, by far the largest fast food chain in the world. Any other strengths, Cassie?
Like their children oriented, the playgrounds and the parties and that.
Very family friendly. Mitch?
Advertisements appeal. The logo, I'm loving it.
Okay, so their brand. Everybody's aware of their brand. They have one of the most recognizable brands in the world. Very consistent. You're going to get relatively the same thing each time. Yeah, with some variation, and we can all make jokes about this, but there's a reason that McDonald's is doing as well as they are, and part of it is the consistency. Yeah, last comment.
They have a fair amount of variety in their
Okay, increasing amount of variety. It's not just, you know, burgers, fries, and shakes anymore, but you can get all kinds of other stuff. All right, how about weaknesses? We'll limit this to no more than 10 minutes of discussion. Yes. Okay, so there's a health issue there. A lot of calories. Yes. Grumpy customer service. All right, and what's their favorite place to eat? It's not your favorite place to eat, in part because, not just because of the calories or the quality of the food or the type of food, but also because you don't feel valued as an individual there.
It's unsanitary, usually.
Okay. You ever go into McDonald's bathroom? Now, there's an old adage that you know what an organization thinks about its customers by the quality of its bathrooms. So maybe you don't really feel valued there either, but you're talking about the broader conditions of health, right? There are flies. Oh my goodness, you know, who wants to eat here? Who knows where those flies have been? That's a perceived weakness of McDonald's.
Just like the appearance of the food, lots of times
Doesn't look like it is in the picture or on the menu or whatever. Okay, so, yeah.
They have a bad image.
Bad image?
Yeah.
Not to their investors. Their investors are loving it.
To customers.
To some customers, there are folks out there that just, when they think about McDonald's, they think, you know, I don't want to eat there, or I'd want nothing to do with that. Okay, so there's that potential problem.
It's not my favorite place to eat because the food is not good, and it's not my favorite way to eat because, I like to enjoy things, but I mean, so I try to never ever go there, but sometimes I do because it's the most convenient, and I'm going somewhere and it's fast, and eating in my car is disgusting, and my car's gonna be disgusting.
But you do it anyway.
But I do it
And
anyway.
sometimes the strengths outweigh the weaknesses there, right? The convenience will trump all else.
I feel bad.
And who among us has not been there? At least go try a Shamrock Shake, right? I mean, that... And this is good. These are some of the main things that I came up with as well when I was just off the top of my head. The thing that gets a little more complicated is when we look outside of the organization. What are the opportunities they have, in your opinion, for growth and for development of the company, as well as the major threats to their profitability and market position? What would you say? You don't have to write them down if you don't want. I think we can probably do some of this top of mind. What are some of the major opportunities for McDonald's? They have the whole world. I mean, the opportunity is China. The opportunity is India. The opportunity is Africa. I mean, you name it, McDonald's can be there. They have that kind of system and those kind of resources where they could feed the whole world. So there are big opportunities, especially in some of these larger countries.
I think they tried to do this a little bit already, but to provide like healthier stuff somewhat.
Okay, there's an opportunity to meet consumer demand for healthier products. Now that's hard when you're positioned the way they are, and when they have the reputation that they do relative to a Subway or something like that clearly seems to be more healthy. That may be more of a threat than an opportunity. Is just how they tend to be perceived, right? But that's notice these are things that are external to the organization rather than internal. What other kind of opportunities or threats would be worth mentioning? We talked about possibility for expansion.
For threats, there's so many other fast food places that customers can easily just go and find somewhere else.
Sure, a lot of new entrants to the market. You know, it's not just Wendy's and Burger King and Arby's and Subway, but this proliferation. And that's just in this country. When you look at other countries, there are other ways that people eat that, would be a direct threat to McDonald's. In China, it's been KFC that got there first and was able to get a foothold in that market long before McDonald's ever entered, right? So those kinds of competitors. Opportunities and threats means things that are external to the organization. Here are a few things that I came up with. And you will have seen some of this. These joint ventures, McDonald's and, say, Walmart. Right? Have you seen McDonald's in Walmart? Sure you have, right? Or at least you've driven by a Walmart and seen the golden arches there on the wall itself. That's an opportunity for them so they don't have to just have the standalone franchises. You go where the people are. Or, we said healthier lifestyle. That's the second bullet point here. Strengthening his value proposition by encouraging, now notice this, encouraging people who visit coffee shops to come to McDonald's instead. What have they done over the last few years that has allowed them to make incursions into Starbucks market?
The frappuccinos and
The McCafe and the latte and premium coffee now. They don't just call it coffee. The premium coffee. Now, whether it's premium or not, you guys be the judge of that, but there's a reason that Starbucks reduced a cup of coffee to $1.50. Did you know? And it's because they were losing so many people in McDonald's. Some of the McDonald's are nicer. You get Wi-Fi there. Come there and hang out. Right? They took a lesson right out of Starbucks' playbook and started stealing the customers. Right? So that they saw as an opportunity, and they took it, and they had tremendous success with it. Starbucks had to respond to it in the last couple of years. And as far as the threats, about health, new entrants, you guys are all over this stuff. Recession is something that has hurt them. Over the years, the environmental groups have been on them about their packaging. The animal rights groups have been on them about treatment of how their suppliers are treating the cows and the chickens and so on. Does that matter? I mean, is that something we can afford to just ignore, those kinds of threats? If you do, it will cost you. The nice thing about SWOT analysis, I mean, it seems like just, another topic, but the nice thing about this, it gives us a systematic way to do some diagnosis, a systematic way to assess where we're strong and weak relative to the competition and what the opportunities and threats are. And why does that matter? Well, it helps us to make better plans, and it helps us to make better decisions, to allocate resources in a way that will get better results. And that's what management is largely about, is the art and science of getting good results.